Welcome to the WTR Small-Cap Spotlight podcast. I'm your host, Tim Gerdeman, Vice Chair and Co-founder and Chief Marketing Officer of Water Tower Research. Today, we're joined by Chris Zhang, Vice President of Corporate Development and Strategy of Maison Solutions, Nasdaq ticker symbol MSS. Maison Solutions is a specialty grocery retailer serving Asian American and other ethnic communities, operating supermarkets in Southern California under the HK Good Fortune brand and in Arizona under the Lely International Supermarkets banner. What makes the company's story especially interesting today is its push to modernize specialty retail through technology. Management has been investing in AI and blockchain-enabled shelf display, inventory, and supply chain systems, targeting improvements in inventory visibility, shrinkage, replenishment, and store-level efficiency while building direct sourcing relationships across Asia. More recently, Maison has begun commercializing that operating know-how externally through software licensing and consulting for other supermarkets. Finally, also joining us is WTR Equity Research colleague James Kisner. Chris and James, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tim.
Chris, for listeners new to the Maison Solutions story, can you please give us a 30,000-foot overview of what the company does, the markets you serve, and where you're taking the business moving forward, please?
Sure, Tim. At our core, Mason Solutions is a specialty grocery store, built to serve the Asian Americans and also, the other ethnic communities. So shoppers who wants, the authentic products, fresh perishable and the brands from the home that usually the national chains don't carry, they tend to come to our stores. Um, so we operate mainly in two states right now, Southern California under our brand HK Good Fortune, and in the state of Arizona under the name Lily International, which we acquired and in 2024, and it has been a strong contributor. So. I think in terms of, where we're taking it, we always have this idea of, not to be seen as a pure grocery operator. Um, we're building two things on top of the stores, hoping to make a difference. The first is as you mentioned earlier, the direct sourcing supply chain. So um, you know, we put a lot of skills on the shelf on a daily basis, and many of those brands are actually kind of straight from the source in Asia. Of course, when you do direct sourcing, there are just like tons of benefits. We can dive in later. And the second is the technology and the solution layer. Actually, that's why we call it, Mason Solutions instead of, some grocery stores. Um, Especially in today's world, AI and the blockchain, kind of center around it. Um, that we believe, for with the technology enablement, we can probably, benefit from, benefit our own store and also help other, independent grocers. So decision is very simple, grocery as the foundation and sourcing and the solutions as the growth engine.
Great. That's a really helpful overview, and I'll turn it over to you to James to ask a few questions.
All right, thanks, Tim, and welcome again, Chris. Your investor deck frames a tech-driven transformation built on AI and blockchain across four areas: store inventory, sales and order operations, customer privacy, and customer loyalty. Can you just walk us through that vision in more detail, and which of these pillars is kind of furthest along today?
Sure. So we, frame the transformation as kind of four areas or four pillars. The inventory, sales and orders, customer privacy, and the loyalty. The idea is simple. A specialty grocer lives or dies on getting the right product, fresh to the shelf and keeping the customer coming back. Um, So AI helps us on the operation side, and the blockchain is where the privacy and the trust relationship is built over time. To be candid about the kind of sequencing, of course, the inventory and the order that those are more on the operation side, are kind of furthest along, because that's where you see the day-to-day pain points are, and and also the areas we get the faster payback, better visibility into what's moving, tighter replenishment, less waste. The customer loyalty would come next because we don't have to rebuild the customer base. We already have it. The relationship is already there. The privacy and the blockchain enabled pillars are in very early stage and are more exploratory right now.
And that's a helpful overview. So, um, let's get a little more practical. So, what does the AI-powered supply chain actually mean inside the stores day to day? And which of especially grocery's hardest problems, perishables, imported SKUs, holiday demand swings, is the technology kind of tackling first?
So I know it sounds fantastic and sounds quote unquote sexy when we say AI powered supply chain, but day to day wise, it's actually a lot less futuristic than it sounds. It's about taking the guesswork out of the ordering and stocking. So in a special store, like ours, we're managing thousands of SKUs, and many of them are perishable. Many imported with long lead time. So tools, we're putting in a help store team to see what's actually selling. What sells good, better, what sells not, up to our expectation. Anticipate, what we need and order against, that instead of against a gut feeling. Because in the past, in the traditional a store operation, a lot of these are kind of like based on experience. But in a a fast-paced world, sometimes experience is not as accurate as they used to. So having AI, some AI enablement solution to accurately predict and to accurately order, that's very important for us. Um, so of the three problems you named, perishable comes first. That's where the money leaks fastest. In our category, um, so a case of produce or fresh seafood that doesn't sell is a total waste. Basically, if you can't sell a box of fresh fruit or some seafood, that's your direct loss. The modest improvement in forecasting and replenishment, um, you know, give us a big benefit, in terms of operation. Imported skills and the holiday demand swings are the next layers. Those are about timing. Long lead times and the big seasonal spikes. You want to make sure you have enough time up front to prepare the inventory so you're not running out of stocks during the big season. But again, the everyday perishable, definitely is the where we start and where we can see the the difference right away.
It's exciting to see you apply a new technology to a age-old problem. A problem that's probably thousands of years old, frankly.
Yeah.
Two of the biggest areas investors watch are shrinkage and demand forecasting. And I think you touched on that just now. So, what's live today versus still on the roadmap, and what early evidence do you have that it's working? Like whether it's the lower shrink or more accurate forecasting.
So let me be disciplined about, live versus roadmap. So on demand forecasting, we have tools in use in our store, informing ordering and the replenishment. That's operational today. And it's where we see the, clearest day-to-day benefit. On shrinkage, the work is earlier. Better forecasting and replenishment reduce shrink as a byproduct, and the tighter inventory visibility is the foundation we're still building on.
That's helpful. we talked about loyalty, the customer base that you already kind of have, but AI is also about, improving, customer relationships, not just the back end. And, you've called out a customer loyalty program. How are you using data and AI to deepen loyalty and sharpen marketing, whether that's for shoppers in your own stores or the supermarkets that you advise?
Sure. As a grocery operator, the loyalty is one of the most natural places, um, for us because you want your customer to keep coming back. Um, and the good thing about it is we're in this, in terms of customer loyalty, customer relationship, we're no different from others because, every store for every operator, you already know, what your customers and, um, what are some of the, categories, they keep coming back and, purchase repeatedly. People buy their staples weekly, right? AI lets us move from a generic loyalty program to something sharper, more targeted, and understanding what a household actually buys, timing the promotions, to real demand and cutting waste, on the marketing side and marketing spend. Um, as the same way we cut on the inventory side. There's also a trust dimension to it. Making sure rewards goes to real unique customers rather than some uh, you know uh, uh, like a regular people. Uh, which is I think the other thing is the identity protection because we've seen a lot like many more fraud incident happens, and I think the blockchain pieces is eventually ties into it. Um, the interesting part is that this applies to many stores. It's not just one program sits in one store. The same loyalty and marketing playbook we ran in our store. Whether it's in California or Arizona, it can also travel to others. If someone else say hey, they don't know how to implement a good loyalty program, that's exactly where we can come in to help them.
That makes a ton of sense. So you recently announced a new AI collaboration. What can you share about that?
Yeah, so that's something we announced I think last week. It's a a collaboration framework with SupplyAi, an AI native company built specifically for the physical food supply chain, and also MiniMax, as you guys may know, a leading global AI company with serious multimodal and agentic capabilities. It's still a non-binding MOU at this stage, so I want to be clear. It's still exploratory right now, but we're working towards that direction. Um, the idea is very powerful. We bring the operating experience, the customer relationships, and the market access. So Supply AI builds the product, and MiniMax brings the frontier AI model. So together we're aiming at AI that's embedded in the daily workflow of food retailers and the distributors. Things that we touched earlier: ordering, procurement, inventory, management, logistics. It's not another chatbot. It's the AI technology that actually apply in a very real day-to-day use case that has a direct positive impact to the grocery business.
That's helpful. It sounds very exciting. So, where do you draw the line between technology you use internally to run Mason's own stores and technology you can package and sell to the other independent and specialty grocers?
That's a good question. So I want to be clear on one thing. So, we're not a software company and we're not trying to be a software company. So I think I don't really want to draw a clear line between ours, theirs, our software, their software, because at our core, we're a grocery operator. And what we're building on top of it is a solution. It's not that, we're developing a software ourselves. I think what we bring to the table is the operational know-how and the ability to um, utilize the technology to actually, improve the business essentially. If someone is really good at building a supply chain software, if someone is really good at developing a large language model that could train and to be applied in the supply chain or the retail world, that's those are the players that we want to partner with, and together. We bring to the table is, the expertise in the business area. So together, I think we have a um, solution that works in real life, and that benefits us, that also benefits others.
That's a helpful clarification. Thank you. So, let's go back to your direct sourcing strategy. So, lean supply chain, is very much about sourcing. At least it's a big part of it. And you've been building direct relationships across Asia, including the recent Guizhou Moutai, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, distribution deal in China. And how does technology enhance your direct sourcing strategy, and what does sourcing like this do for your margins and private label development?
So it's fairly straightforward. Direct sourcing cut as many middlemen as you can cut, and that's a direct improvement to margin. So in our industry, margin, especially the gross margin, is a key KPI to measure the success of the business operation. So any way to improve the margin would help the company economically. Um, Consider we're specialty grocery store. We sell a lot of Asian products. So direct sourcing from Asia is almost a no-brainer. That you wanna continue to source as many products as you can, as many brands as you can. So you have a stronger pricing capability. Sell to not only you're able to offer as many top-notch products at a competitive price to the customer, you will still be able to maintain the margin to improve the overall performance. The multi agreement we signed actually a very good example. So. Um, Not sure if you know, Malta is one of the most sought after, kind of premium liquors, in China, and it's also widely accepted in broader Asia. So having the ability to source from the brand directly and kind of sell in our store is a huge plus for us.
Okay, that's helpful. So, let's turn to a different part of your tech vision. Blockchain, very exciting technology and topic for investors. Tied to trust, security, and customer privacy. And separately, you've taken a treasury position in Worldcoin, an outside identity verification network, and floated using it in stores. So, how does this blockchain fit your overall technology strategy, and where does the Worldcoin position fit into that?
Okay, so I want to just separate those two things. Of course, a Worldcoin is a digital asset that ties to blockchain, but I think I still want to see blockchain and the Worldcoin are two separate things. The blockchain generally, our interest is trust, security, and privacy. In a loyalty and the payment context, blockchain-based identity, can verify that a customer is a real, unique person, which matters for reducing fraud in promotions and also, protecting customer data, and to provide, better targeted marketing. That's a strategic fit. So the World Coin specifically, first of all, it's a digital asset treasury position. The token of the world, World Coin is the token of the World Network, which is an outside identity verification protocol. I'd frame it in two ways. First, is a treasury and a balance sheet decision. And like any other, digital asset, like, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, it carries volatility. That's been visible, and we've been transparent about it. Secondly, it gives us the kind of window into whether the world ID proof of human technology could eventually, support in-store verification and loyalty. And the in-store verification and loyalty actually comes in two places, both the customers and our own staff, because many stores also face the theft issue from the warehouse. So we're thinking with a very robust identity verification system. These actually is kind of like a one stone kills two bird. Um, but I stress this word explore because we have not joined the world network right now, and and we haven't deployed any devices, and anything we do there will be subject to regulation, of course. So blockchain is um a part of the long-term strategy or vision, and the Worldcoin is an early operational. Worldcoin is in kind of like early operational, carefully scoped, item to explore. Um, it's not the center of the strategy right now, but it kind of like sits in our long-term vision. Continue to keep an eye on.
All right, understood. So, Chris, as we wrap up over the next 12 months, what would tell investors the AI and solution strategy is working? Is the KPIs in your stores or new licensees or or consulting agreements or margin improvement or just something else?
So, I'd say the first thing would would come in mind is tell the investor trust us. But I don't want to just give a vague answer. So I'll say a few things. First, operating KPIs in our own stores. So margin and supply chain efficiency. Um, kind of like as the improvement. For our operations, because if it doesn't work for us, it doesn't work for anybody else. And we have to anytime we talk about performance and talk about operation KPIs, the margin always comes first. Second is a progress on the AI collaboration we just announced, moving the SupplyAi and MiniMax framework from a non-binding, towards a defined products and real deployments. A real deployment would be a strong signal that kind of to the market that we're committed to this technology and AI path. A third is the sourcing side, more direct relationships like the multi-agreement we had, and kind of continue to improve, the margins, and also, bring more products, whether it's, the original brands or potentially, private label, to the source to continue to serve the customers.
All right, Chris, that sounds like exciting stuff. It's exciting to see you helping transform your industry with this exciting new technology and strategy. So I'll pass it back to Tim for closing comments.
Thanks, James, for those great questions. And Chris, thanks so much for joining us today to discuss Maison Solutions. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that I've read at least two articles, Wall Street articles nonetheless, over the course of the last 2 months, saying that Asian food category is the fastest single food category in the United States right now.
Yeah, definitely. And we're looking to continue to serve you know our customers in the US, whether they're Asian, they're international, they're mainstream. We're hoping to bring as many products as we can to serve our customers here.
Well, that's great. It looks like you have some wind in your sails with the trend, at least in the US. So thanks for your time and have a great day.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, as well as visiting www.watertowerresearch.com to stay up to speed on the company's small cap written research reports, podcasts, fireside chats, industry-specific symposiums, and conference schedules. We will see you next time for another edition of the WTR Small Cap Spotlight podcast. Finally, a special thanks to the producer and editor of the podcast, Krista Fitzpatrick.